I was laughing the other day at someone's comment on it was a video by a girl called That Star Wars Girl, right? And she made a video about a comic book had like a character on the cover or something, and then people were freaking out about it because it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. A woman wouldn't look like that. Like, and then someone commented, "Let me introduce you. Oh, it's unrealistic art. Let me introduce you to Picasso." And it's just funny because it's art. Is it really meant to be realistic? And that's why I think that the Western comic book industry is doing... I need to look at stats and stuff, but it seems like it's doing more and more poorly, whereas the manga industry is doing more and more better. Because the fans of comics right now, or the fans in the West, they are looking at, like, if you want the realism, I don't know, watch freaking, what's that doctor show? Grey's Anatomy. Like, this is art. A guy with spider powers flying through the sky isn't realistic, but you want the girl to be shaped realistically. But then this video of this girl, she was kind of like, she did a cosplay and she posed in the same way. And then to kind of prove that, you know, it's not even that unrealistic. No needs, Western comics are in the tank. They got stuck on the church and the priestess being too pure to do anything with. Yeah, it was really weird. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for the 1 or 2 itchy scenes, I could show this episode to a Sunday school class and show, look, the power of God. Like, okay, that's what the show is about. I mean, nice, but I would have liked more boobs. Demon Slayer manga last year beat the entire Western comic sales alone. Whoa. That's crazy. The comic book industry in the West is as good as dead. Guess they better switch over to manga, but I understand why it died. Because the freaking Western people, the girl doesn't look realistic, and they want to make everyone overweight because you need a realistic hero. By definition, a hero is active, and if you're very active, you don't necessarily, you lose weight. It's like, if you want to talk about realism, why would you want an overweight superhero? I just, they're so dumb. The first episode, the ecchi was great. Then they didn't do much with it. And it was with the priest too, with Lumakina, yes. We just needed the intense power of God to blast her clothes off. Exactly! Even Deadpool Samurai is getting an English release next year. I don't know what that is. They keep doing the same things. How many versions of Spider-Man and Thor do they really need? Think of new stuff. They do some new stuff, but then they make it... What is that? Remember those 2 characters? Snowflake and the... Like the pink and the other hero? Like... Remember that? That was a new character, but look how that turned out. Like, people want unrealistic superheroes because we can't get that fucking strong and jump over buildings. Like, that's what makes it awesome. But now, see, Safe Space and Snowflake. Like, what? No one wants that. We want unrealistic superheroes. We want something to strive to. I don't know. Well, I guess some people strive to save space. I don't know. Or they go with Cartoon Network weird art styles and it looks not serious. Yes, I've seen that too. I really like, I know where it's off topic kind of, but I really like this guy. He's actually live now. Young Rippa. This video is not available to the channel's members on level blah blah. So you have to, he was live. but now the video is only available to. But anyway, so he does a lot of the idiocy of only seeing yourself by way of race. But this is obviously in comic books. It's relevant to comic books. But he also does some political videos, but the numbers tell an even greater story. There's My Hero Academia on the cover there. This one is just called ha 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 ha. I don't know what, let's see what this is about. Let's just watch like a very short part of his video I want to hear. But he has recently been doing comparisons between anime and manga and the Western comics. And if you like this kind of stuff, you should definitely... I would say some of the comic book art in the 90s was pretty bizarre and anatomically impossible. There's a happy medium they need to get. I just want to hear the topic of this video because the title is ha 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 ha.
So we got our... This is what, the fourth one, if I'm not mistaken? We've covered basically every one of the goofy Captain Americas that they have come out with. And every one has been just that, goofy. But for perspective, for those of you that have not been paying attention at all at this, they're doing this whole the United States of Captain America. And they have basically all of these different characters from different backgrounds that are basically Captain America knockoffs. And each one of them, what they're leading with, Marvel that is, in terms of what differentiates them is, you know, racial, ethnic background, sexuality, stuff like that, which you have with the Aaron Fisher one, which is, I don't remember if he was non-binary or gay or he's whatever. And they were signaling about, hey, this is going to be released on Pride Month, all of this stuff. So they're pretty open with what it is their actual intentions are. And here's the latest design. Well, wrong side. Let me fix this for you guys real quick. Actually, hold on just a second. All right, there we go. So, here's the latest design.
That doesn't look too bad.
Some people are going to say the design itself isn't the worst thing in the world, and maybe not. It's still goofy as hell, because at the end of the day, she's meant to be specifically this knockoff Captain America.
Oh, I get you.
And this is, I know everybody, you're going to see a lot of people's videos on this. And a lot of them are just going to cash in on what the name kind of translate to. And I'll let them handle that, because that in itself is goofy. I will 100% agree. But this is where I'm going to go with it. The reason why, and I have to reiterate, because there's a lot of idiot, normie kind of folks that aren't going to even buy this book anyway, but they always love the ideas. Remember, this is who Marvel and DC appeals to when they try to do things like this. They're not appealing to comic book readers. They're appealing to guys on the internet and Twitter and their peers. That's who they're trying to appeal to. Unfortunately, that doesn't equal sales by any means.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Like, they should be targeting actual comic book readers, and they're, you know how, what I love about manga and what manga does, they do popularity polls. They do, you know, I think a lot of manga readers, they really read from the readers. They take their I feel like, yes, not all manga writers, creators do this, but they have their story, they know where they want to go with it, but they also really take into account their readers and their target audience. And this is especially apparent in Jump manga, because when you create a manga for Jump, you automatically know kind of who your target audience is. And I think that I like how the whole manga culture promotes more independent authors and artists. Manga is a business in Japan. Comics are considered for kids in the West. I don't know. I guess so.
But with this, and what it is that we're looking at,
but they should tap into and see what manga does differently and start. Because why is that so successful? Why aren't we so successful? Change your target market, or target better your target market. For example, comic book readers instead of.
It points to what I've long said. And then when it comes to these characters that are of these different, they're not straight white male. Let's say that. Weirdo leftists, which is basically all of Marvel, as well as the people who like stuff like this, do nothing but, it's funny, the guys like myself who are in opposition to this, they'll like to say, oh, this guy's a self-hating black person or something stupid like that, because remember, these guys are idiots. But the thing is, when you look at this, it reaffirms what everything that I said about this, and they only see legitimacy from straight white male characters. That's it. This is why they love to, of those, make versions, goofy versions of those characters.
Oh, so he's saying, I think he's saying, how I understand what he's saying, I want to respond to two things, what Blackblade said and this. So he's saying, instead of creating a new character, they just want to create something that is not a straight white male, like Captain America, for example. They want to just, instead of just focusing on what do you want to create, they just want to not create that. And I don't think that's a great place to create from. So I get what he's saying. And also Blackblade said it's like with VAs. Japanese VA is a huge job. Western VAs is like a stepping stone to something else. But that's what I'm talking about here. I want to talk about why. Why can't the Western comics and stuff, because it was a more, in the, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, it was a Captain America, Superman, it created this whole world, and I was super into Marvel and stuff, and now it seems like it's just been going down and down and down. Why? Because it could go up and up and up, and in 10 years from now, it could be just as big of a job as being a Hollywood movie star, as being the next Angelina Jolie, if you see what I mean. They're doing that with the next Superman movie. What's that? Exactly. I think he talks about how it's tokenism in other places, rather lazy and unoriginal. Or they want to channel Captain America's established recognition and character, but change it to their character. And that's not I don't think that's, like, what's that? It's not authentic. It's not original. You're just gonna piss off a lot of original fans. Thank you, Alex. He had a video called Shonen Jump Proves Western Comics Are Creatively Bankrupt. Oh, I should watch that video. But yeah, I think the way that he goes about his videos are pretty cool. I like how passionate he is about comic books, because I feel that way about anime and manga. When Marvel came out in the 80s, those kids are 40 plus and they can pay to see it. 90s and 2000 kids don't have heroes or something imaginative. I'm a 90s kid. What do you mean? Oh yeah, and like making Thor a female. Instead of making an awesome female hero, there's like, Thor is an actual god, right? There are many Greek goddesses. Why make Thor female, like, or a female Thor movie? It doesn't make sense to me. When there are, like, if you really want to just Greek goddesses. Wait, is Thor Greek? What goddess? What kind of god is he? What heroes do you have in the movies you want to see? Well, it used to be, I really love Doctor Strange, but okay, he wasn't from the 90s. Can you rephrase the question? Norse. Oh, he's a Norse god. Well, Norse. There are Norse goddesses, isn't there? So why not just Norse goddess? Idun, Skadi, Hel, Norse goddess of the underworld. Skadi, winter, the Norse goddess of winter and hunting. You don't think she could be a badass freaking superhero? Norse goddess of spring, new life and youth. Idun. I don't know how to say that, but there was 90s cartoon of Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange, but I admit that I don't remember superheroes from the 90s that I want to see in movies now. I get what you're saying, but there was a bunch of cool new X-Men that they killed off in another Wolverine movie. 23 Fluent, thank you for subscribing. But I mean, look at all these Norse goddesses that they could make movies of, and yet they choose to just, well, let's make Thor female. Like, no. What the fuck? Thor? That just piss people off. Freya, what? Isn't she? She's in a My Hero. Ugh. She's in a anime. Freya. That's right there. Make her. Oh, but I was about to say like make her some sexy goddess, but I forgot they're not allowed to look like women anymore. They trying to make. Look at these cool designs. Like they could just, if you really can't think of a new goddess, look at this design. Okay, maybe hers is not so cool. Look at her design. Look at her design. She has cats. Like, awesome. I want to see her movie. Freya's in the Thor movies. She doesn't do anything. But what I mean is, wouldn't it be so much better to expand on her character instead of make a movie of when she was young? Because if she's Thor's mother, show us the past before she had Thor. Like, there's a movie idea. But no, let's just make Thor female. I don't know. I think it's kind of lame. Skadi, there's another one. Like, it doesn't have to be Freya. But anyway, I digress. I'm glad that I'm into manga and not manga and anime and not Western stuff. But definitely check out Eric's comic book. I don't think as many people would be into his. He's a libertarian, so I've watched some of his. The first video I watched of him was a video where he was talking about Captain Marvel, and that's when I subbed. And then he did some political videos as well, because they do somehow, especially nowadays, politics and entertainment kind of intertwines a lot more than I think it needs to, in the West at least. And he does do videos on that, and I don't think as many people would maybe resonate or like those, because he is libertarian, so he has, I don't know how to explain libertarianism, but he is libertarian, so he has those opinions, and but I think he's still very cool to listen to, even when I don't agree with him, even when I do agree with him. I just think he's a very cool guy to listen to, and I really enjoy his comic or Marvel videos. You fell into manga because there was nothing from the West to be attracted to. No, I would not say that, because I did have my other channel where I reacted to Game of Thrones, I reacted to, Riverdale, I was super into Marvel for a little while, like let's say 2 years ago. I was starting to get really into Marvel. In one stream we watched the Spider-Verse movie, but it doesn't grip me like anime does, and I tried both, but where manga and anime keeps getting better and better, the West stuff keeps getting worse and worse. So there's stuff to be attracted to. Like there's content. It's just that, yeah, their content sucks. Okay, but then again, I mean, I've liked anime and manga for a while now. And it was partly also because the girl that used to babysit me, as I've told you guys, she was into anime and I watched it with her first. But I mean, I remember reading Archie comics, so I could have just as easily picked up, and the Mad magazine, I read that too. So I could have easily gone more into Western stuff, but something about anime and manga just is better. That's true, Modru. Not only was there, like, imagine if Gintama had to be remade in a politically correct way. Imagine. Eric makes a good point about the mangas being done by the original authors. Eric is the young Rupa guy, by the way. Manga is being done by the original authors with assistants, whereas comics have editors and like 5 different people that work on the art. So like it's not really artistic people working, like inspired artists working on the main stuff with comics, but with manga that is the case. Is that what you mean? Go back in time and move a rock, and Katie's babysitter shows her Ninja Turtles instead. Hey, I did watch, I used to play with little Ninja Turtle toys and those rats. Biker rats from Mars. I played with those toys. She had those. That's where I played with them, in the pool. Because they had a pool. We didn't. So I'd be there all the time playing with her. Biker rats from Mars. Ah, Katie, there's someone who's not subbed, wants to ask a question. Where can I find your Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5 and 6 reactions? Oh, I'd stopped reacting to that because I didn't enjoy Season 8. And people, they don't like your reactions to things unless you react positively most of the time. And I just did not feel like, because I didn't have positive reactions. And so after like 3 episodes, I stopped. I said, I'm not going to react to this anymore because I'm just going to complain, and I don't want to put that out there. Like, in anime as well, sometimes I complain a bit, but the good outweighs the bad. So I still react to it because I do enjoy it more than I don't enjoy it. Whereas with Game of Thrones, I didn't enjoy it, like, at all. So it wasn't worth it for me. Biker Rats from Mars, I think I've never heard of those. You haven't? Like, Oda runs One Piece, and he has his freedom of expression. They still have editors. Like, if you read Bakuman, I've gotten a bigger appreciation, and I'll probably mention this in my next One Piece manga read-along. But I've definitely gotten a new appreciation and a slightly deeper understanding of the industry, the manga industry. Like, there's still editors and stuff, but I do think that they value the author, and the author does have more say, or how should I put it? I don't know. See, Japan is also very competitive. They're not about babying people and how do you feel, and like it's not everyone gets a participation trophy. It's do or die. It's you it's not good enough, bye. Then they work themselves to death. You know how many times in anime characters work themselves to death? Like, have you ever heard of that? It's always some tragic death in Western shows. Like, oh, she was, I don't know. But in anime, often, and it's realistic. Because, and I'm not saying that's a good culture, but they're very, yeah, but definitely try Bakuman. I've read like the first 10 chapters, and it's really kind of eye-opening with regards to the industry of creating manga. I think one of the main issues with the Western comic is that the characters and the universes are already established, and they allow different writers to work on it, which is basically a coin toss if it's good or not, and very limited for the writer. While in Japan, the story tends to be mostly the author, with editors, yes, but the universe they create is from the author. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like in Western comics, it's like Marvel, DC, and whoever works on it. But didn't Stan Lee create Marvel? So it's similar, but yeah, then a lot of other people work on, but everything comes from that universe. Whereas anime and manga, or manga, there's hundreds of different successful mangas, but they have nothing to do with each other. The West lacks originality. A lot of reboots, everything's a reboot. Yeah, we talked about that today in one of the chats. Because they're remaking... Like, there's nothing wrong with a remake. But not if all you're getting is remakes. So, I will try Bakuman tonight. I watched the first episode. I accidentally watched the first episode of the second season first. But, I would say the manga. Try the manga. It's... very intricate, nice. SBS helps a lot, gives a glimpse into the creator's mind, and amusing. Stan Lee didn't create Marvel, but made their best characters. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know much about Marvel. I just, there was maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I started getting really into it. Because I watched, at that point, I had watched some Marvel movies, but then I watched Doctor Strange, and it really drew me in, and I was like, wow. And then I wanted to kind of like see all the movies, and I started with, but the newer movies came out, like Captain Marvel, and it completely lost me. I was like, no thanks. I don't need this. Stan Lee was the chief editor. Oh, see, editor coming in handy. Can I watch Bakuman if I haven't finished Digimon yet? Even in Western video games, they're remaking HD games for no reason. Okay, but, yeah, let me quickly finish with scoring Hanao to summon a Demon Lord, then we can chat for like 15-20 more minutes.